Barca to make outrageous move. There's one in, one out at Spurs. The cup magic is truly alive. There's a transfer roundup and Emoji Mondays all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Frodik, here with the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First up, and according to some reports, Barcelona are willing to pay 67 million euros for Ben Yedder from Monaco. That, of course, as we know, is totally rubbish. There is no way on earth they'll be paying that much for a 29-year-old, despite the fact he's had a pretty good season at Monaco after signing from Sevilla. Surely they can go out and sign someone else for 67 million, but despite this, there is truth to the fact that they do need to replace Luis Suarez. Now, those of you will know that last week there was a whole lot of back and forth between me and those of you Barcelona fans discussing whether or not the team is actually moving forward, and after the weekend, it would appear not. Maximiliano Gomez scored 2 goals against Barcelona, meaning that they left the Mestalla empty-handed and now have surrendered a 3-point lead to Real Madrid after their late win over Real Valladolid. It really looked like Barcelona were just lost in attack without Suarez. I mean, if Messi's not having the best of days, which he wasn't yesterday, Griezmann doesn't look like he's picking up the slack on a regular basis, Ousmane Dembele is always injured, and to put all the pressure on the young shoulders of Ansu Fati, well, that's just not really fair. Now, as I mentioned before, it's nothing against Barcelona. Don't hate him at all. And yes, before you ask, I did watch the game, and Barcelona had far more possession. They just didn't really do anything with it. On the counter-attack, Valencia was so good and thoroughly deserved their victory. Again, like I said before, and the main question that I wanted to ask Barcelona fans last week is this really a massive step forward from Valverde to Setien? And what they need to be doing, personally, in my opinion, is backing the new manager. Go out and spend the 67 million. Just maybe not on Ben Yedder. Anyway, moving on from that, and to some transfer activity that may actually be happening today. That is at Tottenham. Notoriously a club for not really doing much in the transfer window, Christian Eriksen is about to join Inter Milan. He's left Tottenham and today will be arriving in Milan for his medicals to complete a deal worth up to 20 million euros. Ajax will also receive a portion of this fee as a sell-on clause from all those years ago when Spurs initially bought him. But on top of this, there will be one coming in. That is the curious case of Steven Bergwijn. Now, the PSV attacking midfielder wasn't playing in their game yesterday in their 1-1 draw, and there were reports that he actually didn't even bother telling the manager, just travelled to London for his medical without permission. He then released a video later on Instagram saying this wasn't the case. He had spoken to the trainer in charge, and he said that he wished him good luck and that he did have his permission to go and speak to Spurs. Whether or not PSV are totally on board with this all, they do seem to be pretty pissed off, but it looks like Spurs have agreed a fee in the range of about 30 to 35 million euros. Despite this though, it means that Spurs still don't have an attacker, and apparently Jose Mourinho thinks that this won't affect their going for another striker, with Chichov Piontek still mentioned in joining the North London club. In Bergwijn, they just have another attacking midfielder. But on to the magic of the FA Cup now, where, well, I say magic of the FA Cup, not if you're a Tranmere fan, because they got absolutely pasted 6-0 by Man United, but certainly for Shrewsbury fans, who managed to turn around a 2-0 deficit. Well, the players did, not the fans, and come back and earn a lucrative replay against Liverpool. Now, this, of course, led Jurgen Klopp to talk about how the replay is going to be during the proposed winter break for the Premier League. And, well, he promises first teamers 2 weeks off, and they're going to go and get it. So it looks like he'll be stuck with the kids. Now, Curtis Jones, who scored the winner against Everton and the opener against Shrewsbury, will obviously be delighted with this. I'm sure the young players will. But Jurgen Klopp really can't complain about there being so many fixtures or the fact that he has to play the kids and is not giving his first team a shorter break than others. There is one key element to this, Jurgen. If you played your stronger players in the first place, you would have beaten Shrewsbury, and there's no need to worry about a replay. There, end of. I said it. United did it, they won 6-0, and their players are going to get a well-earned break. The one thing I will add on to this, though, is the case of Divock Origi. Now, I want to know what you guys think, whether or not he is definitely a first-team player and should be staying at Liverpool, or he really needs to take a long, hard look at himself, as he's one of the players that's being started alongside the kids. That's right, when all of the first-team players are out on their break, if the likes of Origi start against Shrewsbury, he's literally got to be considering himself because he's being lumped in with the 17 and 18-year-olds. Anyway, moving on next up, and we've got a roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news. First up, and Arsenal have inquired about Real Madrid's James Rodriguez. Matías Vecino of Inter Milan could be joining Everton in a £17 million deal. Kevin Jean-Augustin, the Red Bull Leipzig attacking midfielder, is going to go on loan to Leeds. And lastly but not least, Saudi Arabia's Sovereign Wealth Fund are in advanced talks with Newcastle over a takeover for the club for around £340 million. So next up, we come to a quick look back on your Friday it feels, which is where you left your footballing predictions on Friday's Daily News. First up, and Samir Kapoor guessed that the Derby della Capitale would finish 1-1 between Rome and Lazio, which it did. And next up, Mathematician guessed that Chelsea would see off Hull by a margin of 1 goal, which they did in a 2-1 victory. And lastly but not least, with the username Silence, well, this is an incredible prediction. They predicted Chelsea to beat Hull. Tick. Frankfurt to beat Leipzig. Yep. Bayern to beat Schalke. Absolutely. Lewandowski to score. Correct. And Manuel Neuer to keep a clean sheet. 5 of the best. So welcome to Emoji Mondays. This is where we throw a couple of emojis down on some of the weekend's football. First off, and we have the best player. That goes to Atalanta's Josip Ilicic. He scored a hat-trick as Atalanta won 7-0 away to Torino. The crazy moment of the weekend was that Phil Jones and Jesse Lingard managed to get on the score sheet. Unbelievable stuff. Last but not least, the result of the weekend does go to Shrewsbury, who managed to come back from 2-0 down, as we mentioned, to draw 2-2 with Liverpool. And lastly but not least, I just wanted a quick line from myself on the tragic passing yesterday of Kobe Bryant. Of course, the unbelievable NBA legend who spent so many years at the Lakers not only was a king in his field, but also transcended the rest of the sporting community. From myself, I just wanted to wish his family and the families of all the others involved my deepest condolences. So that's all from me for today. Make sure you smash the like button down below and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.